Hi, today I'm going to show you how to solve the windmill cube. Let's get started.
Now what we've got right here is a fully scrambled windmill cube. Now before we attempt to solve, what I strongly recommend is that if you don't already know how to solve your 3x3 Rubik's Cube, you should probably learn how to solve that before you go ahead with this windmill cube. You learn a couple of very important skills along the way, for example, algorithms that are relevant to this and also cube notation. And if you want to learn how to do it, I have a very nice YouTube video on the ordinary 3x3 Rubik's Cube. Now, once we're beyond that, when we look at this windmill cube, you can notice a few things. First of all, it's very similar to a 3x3 Rubik's Cube in that there's 3x3. And as such, solving it is very, very much like solving an ordinary 3x3 Rubik's Cube, except it has a few different complications as it is evidently a shape-shifting cube. Now let's begin to solve. First of all, the very first step, just like in the 3x3 Rubik's Cube, is to solve the daisy. So the daisy is where you have a yellow centerpiece surrounded by 4 white edge pieces. So let's just make that happen. So here is a white edge piece. An edge piece has 2 colors. I'm just going to shift this right up here. So here's another white edge piece. Again, we can identify this as it has 2 colors, and I'm going to move it right up here again. So this is a completely intuitive step. Just look for these edge pieces and put them up right here, forming the daisy. Here's the last white edge piece, and I'm just going to finally shift this back up here as well. There we go. Now our daisy is fully formed. As you can see, daisy, the petals, everything is here. Now the next step, just like in the 3x3 Rubik's Cube, is to solve the white cross. Now, to do this, we have to align our edge pieces with their corresponding centerpiece colors. However, you might notice a little complication here. In the 3x3 Rubik's Cube, we just simply align the centers and twist it down, because these 2 colors will be flush, they'll fit together. However, in the windmill cube, there's a complication in that 4 of the centerpieces in this cube change shape when rotated. The yellow and white don't change shape. As you can see, as you rotate it, nothing changes. However, if you look at the orange face, when you twist this, you can see the shape of this changes. So you have to make sure the orientation is correct. In order to do this, I'm simply going to move this piece away by shifting the layer. And then I'm going to twist this piece so the orientation is exactly the same. Now if I shift this layer backwards, you can see that now the edge piece and the centerpiece have the same orientation and color, so we can twist this down. And this way we can begin to form our white cross. Now let's repeat this motion for the other colors. So in this process, you might have noticed we've displaced one of our pieces. Let's simply, first of all, bring that back up to the top. There we go. Okay, so now that that's here, let's match this green piece with its corresponding other green piece. Okay, here we go. Now you can see again we have the same issue. The orientation is not correct, so I'll twist this away and then twist this face so the orientation can become the same. There we go. Now the orientation is the same, they're flush together, and we can twist down. There we go. 2 more to go. Here it is. Here's another edge piece. Again, let's twist it over. Orientation is not the same, so I'll twist away, twist the face, put this back, and now the orientation is the same. Now we'll simply twist this down and onto the last edge piece. Here's that last edge piece. It's red. So let's go to our red centerpiece. Okay, and it's not the same orientation. So let's twist this over, making the orientation the same, and twist down. And just like that, we have solved our white cross. And along with it, we have all of these pieces. Now our next step is to solve the entire white face, and just like in the 3x3 Rubik's Cube, we do this by doing our right trigger and left trigger, where using cube notation, the right trigger is R, U, R prime, and the left trigger is L prime, U, L. Okay, so what we do now is look at the top layer of the cube. And what we're looking for are pieces, corner pieces, which don't have yellow on them. So this piece, for example, white and green. So if we look at the cube, it's evident that this piece should come right here. And since it's on our left side, we can do the left trigger, L prime, U, L. There we go. Let's find more pieces like this one. Here's another such piece, orange and white. So this piece right here, if we look around, is actually supposed to come right here. We can tell this by looking at the shape and the color. So we simply shift this over, and now, since this piece is on my right side, I do my right trigger. R, U, R prime. And now you notice when this comes down, although the piece is correct, the orientation is not. So let's simply trigger this out again. And we'll try again. R, U, R prime. Again, the orientation is wrong, but let's simply repeat the motion. R, U, R prime, bring it back, and R, U, R prime. Now this piece is also correctly placed. In this way, just remember, if orientation is incorrect, repeat the motion. Trigger out and then trigger in. So let's look for more other corner pieces. Here's another one, red and white. So again, looking at the bottom of the cube, we can tell that piece is supposed to come right here. So I shifted the face, the top layer, so that it's right above. And since it's on my left side, I'm going to do my left trigger, L prime. L prime, U, L. And there we go. Just the last piece remaining, and that piece is right here, blue and white. So I'm shifting that over, and there we go. Left side, so left trigger, L prime, U, L. And just like that, we've solved the entire first face of the windmill cube. Now the next step in solving the windmill cube is to solve all of these edge pieces right here, thereby solving the entire second layer. Now to do this, we look at the top layer of the cube and we look for any pieces that don't have yellow. So this is one example. It's just red, does not contain any yellow. So if we look at the second layer, we can tell this piece is supposed to come right here. So this is a piece that we want. So if we look right here, this piece is supposed to come onto the left side. So here is our rule. Move this to the opposite side in which it's supposed to be placed. So since it's supposed to be placed on the left, let's move this piece to the right. Okay? And now what we can do is trigger this corner piece that it's right under towards the same side. Just like so. So now this piece is displaced. It's supposed to be here, but it's up here. So what do? We do the same thing we did in the beginning to bring this piece back in, which is, in our case, the right trigger, R, U, R prime. And in that motion, you can see this piece has also come with it. And this is the whole philosophy behind this step. Now let's look for more similar pieces. Here, just orange, no yellow. It's a piece we want. If you look right here, this is where it should be. Again, this piece should come on the left, so let's push this to the right. And let's trigger this existing piece out. There we go. Now let's take this displaced piece, which is supposed to be here, and let's trigger it back in. So since it's on my right side, R, U, R prime. And there we go. Just like that, we've solved the first two layers of the windmill cube. Okay, now what we're going to do is solve the top face of the Rubik's Cube. Now to do this, there are a couple of steps, and it really depends on how your top face is looking. You see, your top face of your Windmill Cube could look a couple of different ways, depending on how much yellow is seen on the top face. This is one of these cases. In this case, there's only the centerpiece and a couple of corner pieces. None of the edge pieces are actually set correctly. So in this case, you can ignore all of this and just look at the centerpiece. There's only one there, which means you do the following algorithm. F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. There we go. Now you can see, again, ignoring these corner pieces, that the centerpiece and edge pieces form a line. This is another such scenario. If you are here, what you do is you make sure that the line is facing you. The line could be like this. It's not facing you, but what you've got to do is shift the line so that it is facing you. And then you do this algorithm. Again, F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. Now what we've got here is the centerpiece and edge pieces forming an L shape. So what we do is shift this L so that it's in the top left corner. Once that it's in the top left corner, you do the algorithm one more time. F, F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. So right now, you can see we have created the yellow cross. Ignoring the corner pieces again, the edge pieces and the centerpiece on the yellow form a cross. Once you're here, there might be a different couple of ways in which the corner pieces could look. It could look like this, it could look like just a cross, or it could look like there's only one corner piece and the rest of the cross is here. That is called the fish, and that's actually a different type of situation which we handle differently. But if you're in a cross shape, which is not the fish, what you do is this. You ensure that in the bottom left side of your hand, there is going to be a yellow piece pointing towards it. So in this case, on my left hand, towards the bottom part of it, this yellow point is pointing towards it. Okay? And now I do this new algorithm, which goes like this. R, U, R prime. U, R, U2, R prime. So now I've got just the plain cross. Again, the same rule applies. Ensure that on this side of my hand, this yellow piece is there. Okay? And now do the same algorithm one more time. R, U, R prime. U, R, U2, R prime. And now we've got the fish that I mentioned earlier. You can see there's only one corner piece that's upright, forming this kind of fish shape. So what we do now is make sure that the fish is actually facing towards the bottom left corner of this hand, right? Just like before. Now, once you're in this position, make sure, again, not like this. You have to make sure it's facing this side, just like you in the 3x3. You do the algorithm one more time. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. So now that the entire top layer is solved, what we can do is ensure that all of these sides have the same color. Now first, you have to make sure if one of those faces already has two of these pieces with the same color. And yes, in our case, we do. These red two pieces are, of course, red and the same color. So in this case, what we can do is put this face to a side, onto our left side, and then do the following algorithm. L prime, U, R, U prime, L, R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, r prime. And right now, as you can see, we've solved the entire windmill cube.
Congratulations, you've just learned how to solve the windmill cube. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next videos.